Welcome back to another episode of BHAW Radio. I'm your host, Brian Rowan, with Logan Everett. We're on episode 89 with Coach Ward recapping an NCAA tournament and a lot of other stuff. Welcome to the show, Coach.
Well, I appreciate you, B-Row. It's good to be back. Logan, always good to chat with you. We've got I think this is our first chat since the end of the wrestling season, right? Our first chat since after Brian Rowan's historic return to the competition arena. So we have a lot to recap there as well. Pumped to be with you guys.
The day after, I guess it was like right after we finished recording the last one, I think we did like Tuesday, right before the brackets come out, and Brian texted me, he's like, we should have just waited till the brackets came out to do the day thing. But I was like, you don't even get a chance to really like digest them until
because we had dozens of angry fans out there just needed an episode, and to give the fans what they want, so we had to get it out there. And now we want to talk about, the season as a whole. We've had a chance to, not completely, but we've had a chance to kind of reflect and digest the season a little bit, and can talk about, what feelings about it, the way it finished, and all the good, the bad, and the ugly, and then what we got going on in the spring and what we have to look forward to next year.
Man, you must have been listening when Logan and I were talking pre-show, because that was our plan right there.
I think that we're just after how many episodes is this now?
9.
We're on the same page at this point.
Yeah, I think we've got it figured out. It's pretty much the same agenda every single time.
Really the listener questions really drive where the episode goes. So,
but you're going to be disappointed tonight then.
Oh man, well we didn't get the announcement out there. So.
Many of there wasn't a lot of some like discussion points, things like that, but nothing that really shocked the world.
Well, listen, I've been rambling enough. We can talk about whatever you host and whatever our listeners would like to hear about.
Yeah, so I'd like to get into, just recapping the NCAA tournament. We sent 3 guys. You obviously didn't get the showing that us as fans would have hoped, getting somebody on the podium. But, talk to us about that preparation leading towards it, your time in Tulsa, being back in Oklahoma, I guess kind of go off there.
What would you have hoped for as fans? We didn't get what you wanted. What did you want?
I would want somebody on the podium, but I'm just a fan that just wants everything. So
yeah,
he wants it all.
Yeah. I had an alumni called me today and to talk to me about a kid in his home state, and he said, "Oh man, your freshman at 125 looked really good. I was hoping he would win some matches at the national tournament, but and I hung up the phone and I thought, well, I'm glad that he hoped that he would do that too. It's what we all want. So." I get it. I know what you're saying. We didn't have the showing that you as fans would want. You don't want anything nearly as bad as the 3 guys that wrestled in the tournament. I'll promise you that. And you guys both know because you've done it. I thought we were an overtime match at 65, an overtime match at heavyweight, and a ticket bout at 49, and a few different weights, of sending, more than 3 guys to the tournament. So it was really close. And then sending 3 to our, to the tournament. This year, that's nothing to be ashamed about, just as tough as it was to make the tournament. But that's not up to our standard. We need to be doing more than that. The positive news is, the last time we sent 3 to the tournament and they all came back, which is what's happening next year. Then we went on a run and set records for 3 years in a row, sending 7 guys to the tournament. So there's some things to be optimistic about there. But yeah, just kind of recapping the tournament. It kind of comes down to this, and to be honest with you, okay, I'll give you my thoughts on how I approach it. Like, if you go 0-2 or 2-2 or 3-2 or 4-2, it doesn't. You either make the podium or you don't. To me, that's the way I feel about it. I don't care. You went 1-2, you went 5-2, and didn't you either placed at the tournament or you didn't. Go 0-2 or make the round of 12. What's the difference? 1 team point. That literally maybe like 1 team point is the difference. So, you go there to win matches and make the podium. You either do or you don't. That's kind of the way I think about it. and we didn't, and our three guys. Here's the thing: is you can live with the results because you know how freaking hard it is to make a run and place at that tournament. Like it's really, really freaking hard. So we can live with the results, but the thing that probably still kind of sits with you the worst is that we just didn't have we didn't have really great performances across the board. I think over the last 6 weeks of the season or so, that was maybe our worst performances, and that's really not the place that you want to have them. So that part really sucks, and we probably feel that as coaches more than we feel anything else, is that we just didn't have them ready to be their best when you had to be your best. And there's probably some reasons for that, but in the end, it's the reasons don't matter. You got to get your guys ready to compete. So yeah, we wish that we would have scored a few more points, or honestly, I don't care about the team points, so I don't know why I said that. Really, we just wish we would have won some more matches and given ourselves a chance to be on the podium. And it didn't happen, but those three guys are all coming back next year, and that's really valuable experience for all of them. So there's some things to be excited about as you move ahead.
Did you guys go out Monday?
Yeah, we flew out on Monday night because there was that storm coming in on Tuesday. So we got out ahead of the storm. So we were there. We flew into Oklahoma City on Monday, drove up to Tulsa on Tuesday, and then we're there, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then drove to Oklahoma City on Sunday morning and flew back. We were there for a full week.
Is that a little earlier than you normally would go? And did you like it or not?
No, I didn't like. I didn't like. It's been a while since we've only had three guys go to the tournament, so our preparation leading up to it didn't feel exactly the same. Maybe the energy, wasn't there, which in hindsight, probably means the guys were just a little bit nervous, and just a little bit tight. So that's why the energy didn't feel like what it needed to be. They're just a little bit too tight. But it wasn't that. A lot of teams go out there on Monday and have great tournaments. We've been out there on Mondays before and wrestled really well. So, but I mean, I would rather be out there, just a day and a half or so before competition. But we were on spring break the week prior. Okay. So we're on spring break. We left EIWAs. We're on spring break. So if we stick around the next week, then our guys have class on Monday and Tuesday, and then you leave, and it's like it just completely messes up any rhythm. So that's a challenge that we have, is kind of getting in a rhythm before the tournament.
Yeah, I would agree with most of everything you said. I mean, really, we talked on the last episode. I felt like we talked a lot about we were trending in the right direction.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like we stalled out a little bit. No, I don't say stalled out in like a wrestling term, but just kind of didn't keep growing in that same direction, really. Like, I think you hit on it, but
yeah, and I think it's but two of the guys had never been there before. Our one guy that has been there before isn't the most. He's not, Benny's not the most vocal guy that's gonna like, here's how you do it, here's how you get ready, and he's a great leader and a great example. But he's not the one that, he's not gonna take over the room. And so, maybe the other two, just my guess is in reflection, a little bit nervous about, their first experience there. And you look at our schedule, like you got to get up for the last dual meet. You got to be your best at the EIWA tournament, and you got to be at your best 10 days later at the NCAA tournament. It's a lot to manage as far as just staying up and managing the hype, for your last three competitions of the year, which span, the course of just a little bit over a month.
Yeah, I think I ended up talking to Russ about. Russ called me for like.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, probably for like an hour, and we just talked about. It's like I often like sympathize with the guys that lost because that was my experience. You know what I mean? So it's like you feel for them just because how much goes into it, and it's like you see. I mean, like my career is the same way. I had like you have two matches that you lose that like you're like, man, I don't feel like that was reflective of everything that went into this. And and that sucks. Like I feel for them from that aspect because it's just I don't know. It feels like that just wasn't the way that it should have been, just based off everything that you did or all the work that you did, and then
that's right.
Sometimes like,
and that's why you don't need to. that's why it's, you don't shy away from it, and you know how important that tournament is and what it means to you. But at the same time, it doesn't define the course of your career. So, and these guys, all of them, if they had to hang up their shoes right now, they'd have a lot to be proud of. The good news is they got, at least one more year. Benny and Nate got another year, and Ethan's got 3. So, yeah, that's a lot to be excited about with that. Here's the thing: when you go into the tournament like us, as what was our highest seed, 14?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're just average that weekend, you're counting on 6 or 7 guys in front of you to have bad weekends. And that's if you wrestle up to, you're kind of like pretty good. And that's as a 14 seed. You're ranked 14th in America, and you're counting on 6 or 7 guys in front of you to have shitty weekends. You can't, and that's as a 14. Now, you get your 17 or 30th seed. Now you're counting on a lot of people to lay an egg that weekend. You have to be great. Like if you go in there seated 14th to 25th, well, you have to be great that weekend. And our guys wrestled pretty good, but they weren't great. And that, that ends up showing in the results. So listen, if you're going to go in, you got to be great. If you want to win it, you've got to be great. If you want to place as the 15 seed, you've got to wrestle way above your 15 seed. You can't count on 7 or 8 or 9 people in front of you having a bad weekend. You have to be great. And we just, we were pretty good, but we weren't great. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, I think go ahead, Ryan.
I was gonna say, well, on a positive note, looking at the being at the reception on Friday, this year versus last year, you could tell the tone was just different. And when you don't have any seniors that are there, there's no real like funeral as you would describe it, because the end isn't near, and you can tell with all those guys that it was like, yeah, they were disappointed, but it was a learning experience, and there's next year, and a lot of times there's not always that next year, next opportunity. So felt different at the reception this year than last, because you're seeing a couple guys that, you just know they're never going to get that next opportunity, with NCAA wrestling.
Yeah. No, that's a good observation. I'm glad you brought that up, because for me, honestly, it was like, I did not want to be there. I'll be honest. Like, I mean, those times are hard for me. Like I don't move past losses, or, what I would consider a letdown or failure as a coach. Like man, those are tough. I don't move past those very quickly. And so like, it was all I could do to drag myself into that reception. I just wanted to get the hell out of there, but it's, you appreciate everybody's support, and you appreciate what they've done to help you get there. And so it's important that we're there. And sometimes you just got to suck it up and be present and be there and thank the people for what they've done. But I'm glad it was a different vibe, because that wasn't something that I was really tuned into. So good observation. That's good to hear.
Yeah. Overall, Tulsa NCAAs, a lot of crazy wrestling.
Better than I thought. Like the arena was missing like the modern day, the sound system, the scoreboard, like that stuff was maybe a decade in the past, from what we've been at the other venues. But there was plenty of space. They were very well prepared. There were no complaints with athletes waiting in line. They had ample locker room space. Like everything for the competitors, they nailed it. It was great. I mean, it was a really good experience for every competitor there. And then it's, the fans, I don't know, did the fans have as good of a time or not? I don't know. But from a competitor standpoint, the city was easy. We walked back and forth to the hotel. We were always able to get food when we needed it. You would expect some lines and crowds just, on a big weekend like that. But for me, they surpassed my expectations. I didn't think it would go that smoothly. Except the only thing that sucked is we had to fly in and out of Oklahoma City, which, listen, that hour and 40 minutes or so drive from Oklahoma City to Tulsa, I would rather do that than drive 1 hour to LaGuardia any day. It was like, there were no cars on the road. It was easy. You pull up to the airport and you're like one of 3 cars that are there. It's crazy. So yeah, all in all, it wasn't that bad.
Isn't the speed limit on the highway like 90?
No, it was like 85, something like that. We were cruising. I'm in a minivan, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to go past the speed limit. Can the van take it? Yeah, we stopped at a toll, and the lady there in the toll booth was like talking to me, asking me how my morning was and how are you doing. I was like, they don't talk to you like this in New Jersey when you stop at a toll booth. So
Oh, no way.
yeah, that was pretty cool.
Brian called me on Thursday and was like, he was like, "Yeah, I'm finally getting in the air." I was like, it was like at this point it was like 2 o'clock. I was like, "Oh, what the heck?" That's like he missed like the entire morning session because his flights got canceled or something.
Will you tell us, Brian, what was it like for a fan's perspective in Tulsa?
It was good once I got there. I missed the first session, and honestly, the Matt cast they had, I was watching it in the one of the lounges at the airport during my when I was during my layover.
Yeah.
And it was great from a fan perspective watching the first rounds on TV there. But once I got there Thursday night, I mean, it was rocking and rolling. I sat next to Messett, and I have to apologize because I've been very critical of refs, this season, and I took it all out on him Thursday.
He's an innocent bystander. He wants to do nothing but sit there and enjoy wrestling.
Yeah, and I was putting all the blame on him for no reason. But partially because he was like justifying a lot of, he was like standing up for the rules to an extent.
Well, maybe he was just trying to get you fired up.
No, he was not enjoying this.
This is a question I have to ask because I figured you would know the answer. For the challenges, is it a third ref somewhere else, or is it the guys on the mat that are making the call? It can't be them.
No, it's not them. It gets sent off at the conference tournament, and NCAA tournament gets sent off to a third party reviewer. You don't know who those people are.
I guess my question was like, do they record it on a VHS and one guy grabs it and he runs it somewhere and then they bring it back?
Embarrassing. That one challenge that went for like 8 minutes in the finals was an embarrassment because there's 15,000 people in the arena that know the right call. I think the ref on the mat actually knew he screwed it up. Like everybody in the arena knew they had to change the call, and it took them 8 minutes to do it. Just that's an embarrassment. We can't afford that. Everybody knows that. I don't know what happened. That was a major breakdown, obviously.
Flo was reporting that they asked about that, and they got the word the referee said was that they were just trying to get it right, because you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. Like maybe there's glitches in the video, like they're not able to see it. Some logistics. But yeah, they just kept watching it over and over again.
Everybody in the arena kept watching it over and over. We were doing the wave. It was that bad. We were doing the wave around the arena. It was terrible. So
I don't really recall any challenges being quick or like timely, even to the point where I was like, every time I was like, what are we're still looking at this? Like it was crazy. I thought it took way too long. I didn't know what was going on.
Frustrating. And we had one challenge because we have 3 competitors. We never threw the challenge. And I thought there were 2 calls that probably should have been changed in my mind if we would have challenged them, but you never know in the moment.
It also completely messes with the flow of your match. Like somebody like Lucas who gasses people out at the end of a match. It's like, I'm not going to throw the challenge where I can give this guy 6 minutes to completely recover with a minute and a half left in the match. Like you can't do that if that's one of your guys' strengths. You're like in a tough situation where you can't even use it because.
Well, I don't want to turn this into like a griping session about the rules, but hopefully the rules can get simplified where it's easier to call, where everybody knows what the call should be, and challenges are now about whether they were inbounds or out of bounds, and not when you have to challenge actually the application of a rule that many times, it means the rules are a little bit too confusing. So hopefully they can simplify the rules and take a lot of the junk out, make them really simple and easy to understand, easy to call for the referees that are on the mat. It's not an easy job, and we need to do everything we can to make their job easier.
Well, I feel like at one point we wanted the third party review, and I think that it's a good thing. So it just can't take as long.
We can't do it. I don't think wrestling's set up to make review work in an optimal way, but other than that, I mean, I thought, probably for the fans, it was a pretty exciting tournament. There were a lot of upsets, obviously, some big ones. There was really good wrestling. I mean, it's as tough as it's ever been when you look at how old, the field is at the national tournament, how hard it is just to get there. You got to be ready every single round, and that shows like just the quality of the athletes that are there. A really good tournament.
Yeah, I think I saw Scott Green said that.
Oh, you're still
out of 80, there was 64 kids in 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th year that were all Americans.
Yeah. I mean, only 3 true freshman All Americans this year, and one of those true freshmen bypassed his senior year of high school and trained at a college and wrestled in college opens. Didn't even compete in high school his senior year, so I really wouldn't consider him the traditional true freshman. But yeah, there were 3 true freshmen, 3 redshirt freshmen, and everybody else was older than that. So and a couple, I think 3 7th-year guys made the podium. So yeah, man, you got to be good to do it, and you got to be good early, and then you got to stay good.
I think it's amazing. Like, think about how good you have to be to win 1, and then to be able to win 4 and not make a single mistake.
It's pretty
in any 4 of the tournament. Like, you have to be so much better. It's crazy. I mean, I got the firsthand video from Brian during the Spencer Lee match. He sent it to me like right after. It's a video of him. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, I don't know if I saw that video. We were sitting there watching the match. That was wild. It's like, not only can you not make mistakes, but I mean, you're gonna make mistakes, but you got to be tough enough to overcome them. And it's pretty incredible accomplishment to win 1 and then to have an opportunity to win 4. Pretty studly to do that.
Yeah. But I guess we can move on to, somebody who did make the finals just this past weekend.
Let's go. Let's talk about what it takes to not only be in the arena, but to get back into the arena after being retired for what, 10 years?
14
years of retirement. Our man, BHAW, steps out to compete. And what do? You reel off 3 straight wins, chasing down single legs at the end of the period, make your way to the finals?
2 straight wins. I didn't have a pigtail.
Okay, so listen, nobody here is going to go check the brackets, Brian. Say you won 8 in a row.
Well, we did, actually. We did check the brackets.
Oh, no, there was a lot of people looking at Flow Arena that day.
So tell us about it. So you went back and you entered a tournament and you wrestled this past weekend.
I did. It was a great experience. It was eye-opening a little bit. I thought I was in pretty good shape. I didn't actually. I mean, there was a lot of people that were dying out there. My big mistake was not probably stretching my groin enough.
Stop.
And going really hard for an inside strip within 15 seconds of the first match, and just like not getting it, and just being like, "Ooh, that felt a little funky."
I mean, are you walking around today, or are you hobbling around?
Oh no, I can walk and I could probably jog, but I did go to the physical therapist this afternoon, and we've got to work on some things.
Okay.
Just like our guys, at NCAA's, that
you healed up.
Some lessons, just things to work on. I've got some things to work on too, but overall, it was a great experience. I mean, we had, probably 25 kids from my youth club that were competing, that stayed around after their,
to watch coach. What do they call you? They call you Coach BHAW or what?
Coach Brian.
Okay. They stuck around and watched Coach Brian.
It sounded similar to like, kind of after Spencer's the first period of that match, the whispers going around like, hey, you hear what's going on? Like, see what's happening. It was kind of like that. Like, hey, Coach Brian's are you seeing this? It kind of felt like that in the moment in the center of the mat. Yeah, it was good. And so I went out, I ended up winning that match. I won the next match, and then I forfeited in the finals because I had like a 2-hour break in between the second and third match, where in between the first and second, there was only like 20 minutes. So like I was able to stay warm and like, my groin didn't feel too bad. But after that second, I was not feeling very good. So
well, dude, listen, it takes a lot of courage to get back out there on the mat and compete and test yourself. So sincerely, man, proud of you. Congrats for having the courage to get out there and do it. Go win your matches.
Appreciate that.
Logan's next.
He was sending me videos of he sent me videos like, he's like, so what did you think of this one? I said, well, I thought that guy made a snail look pretty fast. That one guy he wrestled.
Actually, I wasn't asking you how you thought that guy looked. You just told me how you.
What Brian really wanted to hear was, man, the inside trick was sick.
Yeah, I mean, you executed well.
Well, yeah, I mean, usually if a guy has a good shot on you and you can like down block to an overhook, you can get it, and it's like smoother. But when he hits such a bad shot and you kind of have to force it, that's what makes it even more impressive.
Yeah.
You have to actually lift him up off the ground to be able to hit it.
You have to roll him over off his back, stand him up, just to make him fall down again. Listen to you. What tournament did you enter? What was this? You entered the youth tournament, didn't you?
The funny thing was, and you can't see it in the video, I inside tripped him so hard, and I caught his arm. Like sometimes you lose the arm in the overhook side, and other times you can stay high enough on the body to where you kind of capture it.
Yeah, Brian, I'm familiar.
He fell so hard back, and like I think he knocked the wind out of him a little bit. He just quit and was like ready to get pinned, and just laid there for like 5 seconds, and the ref didn't call the pin. So he squirms up and ends up getting out of it, even though he had quit and like decided, hey, my BHAW career is done. Age as well. He was not young. He was like, yeah. I felt bad because he probably had like a wife and kids that were watching, and he's like going out there, and I just inside tripped him to his death. No
mercy, B-Row. Well, listen, we're sending a few guys out to compete in Vegas here in a couple weeks at the U Junior or UW Junior Open, U20s, whatever they call it, and maybe a couple. Coach Parker is going to compete in the U.S. Open. U.S. Open is open to anybody if you want to go out there with us. And
there's also,
I was trying to get him to do the Masters. The what is that? What the senior or Masters? It's not senior because senior's like
not old. Yeah, like Ian. Oh, the Masters division. Yeah, you could get out there. I don't know how they do the Masters. Isn't it like by different age brackets? But
different age brackets. And if I remember, I mean, Reese Humphrey did it a few years back and won like Masters Worlds. And it was like, but there's like older divisions too. I mean, no, there's no way. I'm not.
I hope you draw Reese Humphrey when you go out there to the Masters. And I hope you try to inside trip him.
He was at BHAW this weekend at the tournament.
He wasn't wrestling.
No, he wasn't wrestling. He was coaching, but he was there.
Yeah, I got a feeling he could still wrestle.
I thought about it. I was like, man, he wouldn't have been my weight class. He would have been the weight class down. But I'm like, man, if he signed up for this, that wouldn't be fair. Because there were some good guys. Like 167 had 3 former Division I wrestlers. Like there were 2 of them were New Jersey State champions. Another one was a 2-time PA medalist. Like they had some like deep weight class. There's 12 guys in that weight class. There was 10 in mine. How
much hate mail are you going to get for talking so much about your wrestling tournament on this show?
Only from one individual. Everything else will be positive.
But no, we are going to Vegas, and you're welcome to go with us. We're going to send some guys out there to compete.
When's the tournament?
Wrestling club's singlet that says Rowan on the back.
we'll get one ordered. Well, it might say Rowan with a Sharpie, but it'll say Rowan. The tournament's at the end of next month, the end of April. I'm not even sure the dates, but Ian's going to go. And U20s, we're going to have Bergen, Charlie Farmer, Cole Hoffer, Wolfgang Frabel, Trey McDaniel. We're going to wrestle U20s. And Ian's in the open. Joe Couch might wrestle in the open level Greco. I'm not sure if we're going to send anybody else, but that's the guys we got at this point. And then you didn't ask, but I'll just fill you in. We're going to train, pretty hard through the month of April. So Coach Parker's done a good job putting a training program together. He's going to run our training through the month of April. And then we're at it, like we're recruiting hard right now. And I was on the road this weekend, and we got a lot of visits that start this weekend. So we got 3 weekends in a row of probably 4 to 6 recruits each weekend that are coming in to visit. So we're moving forward, man. A lot to be excited about. We got some young guys that are excited to compete in their off season. and we've got a lot of recruits coming in that are going to help build the program. So, while you're chasing your goals on the mat at the Mawas, we're chasing our goals on the mat here at West Point too.
Good to hear.
Yep.
Had the guys for the since NCAA's had some time, are they taking off some time off in March, and that was why you guys are ramping up?
Yeah, we haven't had any structured workouts with our guys that wrestled at the national tournament at all. It's all been on their own, and now quite a few people have been in the room, and there's some that we haven't seen. And some of them I'm okay. Like, I don't think I've seen Lucas or Pazook, and I'm fine with that. Like, let them kind of decompress and kind of let them have some time to reflect. And sometimes I think guys, their safety mechanism is like, let's get back to work. Let's get back to work. And I'm like, no, you need to take 4, 5, 6 days and really think about, why things went down the way they went down. Don't just get back into the room and get back to work. Like, you need to go think about why things happened the way they did, so we can, think about making a plan to change some things that we didn't like. So I don't mind not seeing those guys since the national tournament. And there's some other guys on the team that didn't wrestle in the national tournament. I haven't seen them either. That is a problem. They need to start getting into the room. But I have no doubts. Our guys trained hard this year. They're going to train hard this offseason as well. They'll be ready.
So just send me their number. I'll text whoever needs to get in there and let them know.
Well, they don't listen to the show, Logan. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Some of them do.
They should.
Who knows? I don't know. Maybe they get.
I hope they don't care what we have to say. I really don't.
Right. Yeah. Really, they just need to care about what they, the way that they're thinking and the way they approach their training, and that's it. Nothing else. So, but that's it. I'm trying to think about what other things, may be of interest. Our schedule for next season, we're working on that. I'm not going to announce anything yet, but we have a couple like really cool things in the works. We should have some marquee events again. So yeah, like, we're moving and recruiting and scheduling for next year and kind of hit the ground running when we got back from Tulsa.
Are there any events throughout the spring or early summer at West Point, if any alumni are coming back? I know people travel back to West Point, so reaching out to you. I don't know if there's anything going on.
No, we don't have anything scheduled right now. We're going to do a spring banquet for our wrestling team, but it's going to be pretty informal. We're going to get together and kind of picnic style, really, more than anything. We have a small group of seniors. We want to be able to celebrate them, and we have some awards to give out. But, it's not a year that you need to throw a huge banquet for. There's a lot to be excited about and a lot to be proud of, but it's not, that we didn't do quite enough this year to be able to throw a huge party and celebrate. So we're going to get together and have a good time as a team, and maybe they'll, everybody will invite their dates and their plus ones to come with them, but it's not going to be a big formal deal where we bring in alumni or anyone from out of town to come to it. And then other than that, it's almost April, which means it's almost May, and then it's graduation. They're out of here. So there's not that much time left on campus, to be honest. There's, 6 weeks or so.
Yeah, I was going to say, I bet they feel like there's a lot left.
Kind of depending on what situation they're in.
Yeah. You got a lot of grades to recover from after this past few weeks, I'm sure.
There's a few of those, but 10-week grades come out this week, maybe. So, we'll see. And our guys have done really well academically. I'm really proud of them for what they've done there and the maturity they've shown. So, but yeah, I'm sure some of them are a little bit worried that, they got some making up to do, so they need to get on it.
Yeah, I feel like the spring's kind of slow. It's like Projects Day, and that's really it around campus. There's not much.
Amherst.
Oh, true.
Hey, so speaking of academics, let me just give a shout out to Nate Lucas for this. This drives me bonkers. The NCAA gives out an award at every championship. It's called the Elite 90 Award. There's 90 NCAA championships, apparently. So the Elite Award goes to the competitor with the highest GPA. And the 157-pounder from North Dakota State won it again this year. He has a perfect 4.0 GPA. He's a couple-time All-American, total stud, right? Take nothing away from the winner of it. But Nate Lucas has a 4.1 GPA at West Point. But here's the deal. Since West Point does half grades, C minus, C plus, they convert the 4.1 to a 4.0 scale. So Nate ended up with like a 3.9. But he deserves public recognition because a 3.9 at West Point is better than a 4.0 at any other school in the country, and a 4.1 at West Point damn sure is better than a 4.0 anywhere else. But, again, a victim of our own system and way of doing things here, but he deserves some recognition for how much ass he's kicked in the classroom over the course of not just this year, but his entire time at West Point.
It's impressive. Couldn't be me.
Yeah. Was it? You were a good student. You're a smart guy too. And I mean, how many people have had a 4.0? It's not many.
I know, like, on one hand.
Yeah. Yeah. Is another one of them our co-host?
No, not this episode.
He graduated. Not this episode.
I'm trying to think about like how a 4.1 is less than an A. Like how's it less than a 4.0 scale? Because
it's apparently you can have A pluses count and like, so they reduce
like the bonus scale, and A plus is like a 4.3.
If they reduce the A plus to an A, but I'm not so sure, like they would reduce the B minus up to a B, if you want to call that reducing. I mean, it only hurt him.
I mean. Like, so if you get a B minus in another school, that's a B, that's a 3.0, but a B minus is not a 3.0.
You can have no C's on your transcript at West Point and have like, what's a B minus?
2.67.
Yeah, you can have no C's on your transcript and have a 2.67 GPA with no C's. It's incredible. Like how,
or you could have like all C's.
Yeah, you can have all C's. You can have all C's and be ineligible at West Point. Think about that. Yeah. So I mean, it's a tough academic environment.
For sure.
But I mean, our guys figured out and they all stay eligible and kick ass. So tough guys. What did we have any listener questions, B-Row? I feel like I'm just kind of going on and I can chat anything. I didn't really take that many of your questions either, but I'll take some questions and we'll give the fans what they want.
No, I mean, everything from the listeners was like discussion based. It was already covered.
Okay.
I know some fans out there are really interested now the season's over, your golf schedule leading into the spring, into the summer. I know I need to get up there and hit the course.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like this topic that are listening, but
I haven't played golf. I've been I have a little simulator in my basement now. I've been hitting a lot of golf balls at the house. And I think I'm in decent form, but you just never know until you get out there, like
you got to test the course conditions.
I don't have a short game facility. I don't chip and putt, so who knows? I don't know. I haven't hit the course. I do get a chance. We're going on a family vacation this weekend, in a week from now. So we're going to get a chance to take a break and get away for a little bit. And then maybe we'll hit the course after that. So you have to come up and play, B-Row. And anybody that's listening, please let us know. Come up, you can be our guest. Come, let's go hit some balls.
I'll ask you a wrestling question, I guess. If you had to take one thing away from this year, what would it be?
If I had to take one thing away from this year,
or like most important lesson learned.
Yeah, we all remember the way the season ends. That's the last thing that's burned in your mind. So I think a lesson for us is just being maybe a little bit more in tune with the emotions and the state of our guys. At the end of the year. But I'll tell you, like, I was really proud of our team this year. I thought we wrestled our best in the second semester and we were trending up. And so I don't want to let, one bad day of wrestling kind of sour all the work that these guys did. You can do everything right and you can be prepared and do everything right. And you still got to show up on game day, and you got to make your own breaks. But no, that's probably the question to ask, is what's one thing to take away? I don't know if I've gotten there yet, to be honest. I mean, we've thought about it quite a bit, but I don't know if I've gotten there where I could really narrow it down, pinpoint one single thing that I would say this is the most important takeaway. But I know this, we're at a critical spot where, like, I feel really good. We're in a completely different spot than we were a year ago. Like, this team right now, I feel is in a great spot. Last year, I felt like we were a mess. And it's just important that we continue. We need complete buy-in from our guys, and we need really strong leadership from the guys on our team. And if we do, then we can have a really good team next year.
I'm fired up. That does it for me, huh?
I wasn't going to wrestle Mawas a couple weeks from now in the next tournament, but now I think I am because you fired me up.
Let's go. You need somebody in your corner? I want to come corner you.
Get in line.
Behind the whole youth team.
I'm teasing. But Coach, I mean, that was a good one. I don't have any other topics. I think the next, I want to have Coach Parker on.
Yes.
Fans know, have Coach Parker on, have Coach Jeffries on here, this off season in the spring, and some others. Get back to some alumni episodes as well. So, more to come with the podcast. But really, Coach Parker competing, I think it'd be great to hear his story and kind of what's going on for the spring. So.
I'll look forward to just kind of tuning in and listening to that episode, not knowing the answer to every question as the episode's playing. So I look forward to you're about to add another fan to the show, bring Coach Parker on here as a guest, and I get to sit back and listen. Can't wait.
Awesome, Coach. Well, appreciate you coming on as always.
Yep.
And you as well. Thanks for everybody for listening in.
BHAW.
BHAW.
Thanks for tuning in to the BHAW Radio Show. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe and leave us a 5-star rating on your favorite podcast platform. If there's something you'd like to hear on a future show, reach out to us on any of our social media, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Or you can reach us at email, bhaw.radio@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and as always, go Army, be Navy.